What's up, Grayson Report? Happy Monday. What is up, Tammy, Carol, Heather, whatever, Matthew with the hell. Oh, and what is up, Lisa Boo with and Project Metal Music says A up. A up, Project Metal Music. Guys, how was your weekend while we wait for people to trickle in? How's everyone doing? I feel like I'm move it down a little bit. There. That way I don't look like I'm like that. Delea Lux, what is up? Joanne, how's it going? Leonore, what is up? Emily Parkinson, how's it going? How is everyone's weekend, or Monday, I should say, while we wait for people to trickle in here? All right, I got a little more movie going to streaming news for those of you that have, while we wait for people to come in, that way you're not just staring at me, just staring at the screen. For those of you that have Paramount Plus, Quiet Place Day 1 sets Paramount Plus premiere date. Paramount Plus announced on Monday that A Quiet Place Day 1, the third film in the A Quiet Place horror franchise, which examines the day the world went silent, is set to begin streaming exclusively on the service in the US and Canada on Tuesday, August 27th, which is tomorrow, I believe. Yes, tomorrow. The critically acclaimed Paramount titles availability in additional international markets will be announced at a later date. Directed by Pigs Michael Sarnowski and starring Oscar-winning Lupita Nyong'o, Black Panther films, and Joseph Quinn, Gladiator 2. It hits streaming following a late June theatrical release, which saw the films open to nearly 100 million worldwide in the franchise. I did get to see this film on with an early screener. It is the weaker of the two, but if it is worth watching if you do have Paramount Plus. Grossing over 261 million worldwide to date, A Quiet Place Day 1 watches as Samira returns home to New York City, seeing her simple trip turn into a harrowing nightmare when mysterious creatures that hunt by sound attack, accompanied by her cat Frodo, who is the star of the movie. Literally, I was screaming for the cat throughout the whole movie. I did not want the cat to die. I didn't think they were going to do that, but I was like, no, because the cat had so much personality in this movie. And an unexpected ally, Eric, Samira must embark on a perilous journey through the city that has suddenly gone silent, where the only rule is to stay quiet, to stay alive. Digimon Hansu, I know I am butchering his name, I do apologize, and Alex Wolff also star in the Platinum Dunes Sunday night production. Chernowski's screenplay stemmed from his and franchise architect John Krasinski's story, which was based on characters created by Brian Wood and Scott Beck. Michael Bay, Andrew Forum, Brad Fuller, Krasinski produced the threequel with Allison Seeger and Vicky D. Rock serving as executive producers. So if you guys do have Paramount Plus, check that out. It is arriving to that platform tomorrow. I don't know, maybe even midnight tonight. Lewis, Nerd Report in the house. What is up? What is my... Give me a second, Anne. Let me get the link for you, Anne. Give me a second. Unless somebody beats me to it. Patrick, what is up? Patrick goes, come to Florida. There's a lot of witch doctors. All right, and I dropped the PayPal link in the chat. Leonardo's poor cat. No, the cat was the star. Like they didn't. Like there was a few. It was the star. It was the star. Honestly, that's what I enjoyed about the film. To be honest with you guys. All right, guys. Do you remember when? While we wait for people to trickle in, do you remember when? I had mentioned about poo, blood, and honey. And after the second one, they decided that they were going to create a Pooniverse, like the Avengers universe. Well, they announced two more films that they are going to add to the Pooniverse, which I have yet to see. I am waiting for Pooh, Blood and Honey, Electric Boogaloo to arrive on streaming. They're saying it's probably not going to be on, I believe, Peacock until October because that's when the first one arrived. So I may have to wait another 2 months before I could see the second one. I did see some reviews. They did say that it was better than the first one. Like the production was better because the first one, it was a great concept. It was not executed properly. But they are adding movies to the Pooniverse, and they shared two new gory posters. The Pooniverse is getting ready to once again turn the audience's favorite childhood tales into unpredictable nightmares. Bloody Disgusting has revealed new posters for two of the franchise's upcoming movie, Bambi, The Reckoning, and Pinocchio Unstrung. Will take the elements viewers known from these stories and turn them into violent horror tales that will keep audience on the edge of their seats. It won't be easy to escape the animal in search of vengeance and the puppet that was brought to life through unconventional methods. Um, there is, I believe it's Mickey's Mousetrap. It is on VOD, so but I am waiting also for that to come on stream. But it is on VOD if you want to see a Mickey type horror slasher film. That the trailer looked pretty cool. The first poster revealed was the one from Bambi the Reckoning. The movie is scheduled to premiere in theaters at some point next year, while the animated version of the story saw the titular character grieving the death of his mother. The new movie, directed by Dan Allen, will see the animal wreaking havoc due to his loss. The premiere, actually, that sounds kind of cool. The premiere of Bambi the Reckoning follows Roxanne McKee, and her young son trying to survive against Bambi's rage. The second installment from the Pooniverse that was showcased in the new poster was Pinocchio Unstrung. Other iterations of the character have shown the puppet grateful at the chance of having life of his own. There have also been a few other, I believe, horror movies as well about Pinocchio. But the Pinocchio from the movie directed by Rise Frank Waterfield won't be as friendly as his name would lead audiences to believe, showing a hand covered in blood, presumably Geppetto's. The poster from Pinocchio Unstrung makes it clear that the puppet isn't here to play. What's next for the Pooniverse? And real quick, thank you, Anne, for gifting 5 memberships. Welcome, Bob, just another DJ, Greg Ellick, Linda, Tara TJ, and Ann Wilson to the Wolfpack. Hearts for Ann and all the new Wolfpack members. I also want to thank Ann for her generous PayPal as well. So thank you, Ann. I totally appreciate it. You are awesome. You rock. Hearts for Ann and all the new Wolfpack members, guys. Thank you. So here is the poster for Pinocchio Unstrung. It looks pretty cool. I wouldn't mind having that poster. So what's next for the Pooniverse? Even if Rise Frank Waterfield is working on multiple stories at the same time, the franchise, also known as the Twisted Childhood Cinematic Universe, is only getting started. It's been reported that all the monsters introduced in these productions are set to cross paths at some point in a story currently titled Pooniverse Monsters Assemble. As if that wasn't enough to keep audiences awake at night, Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare is scheduled to be released later this year. The twisted childhood cinematic universe would be nothing without the monster that started it all. That's why a third Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey installment is currently in development. The antagonist, portrayed by Craig David Dawson, was ready to teach Christopher Robin Nikolai Leon a lesson when he first appeared on the big screen last year, but that was only the beginning of his journey. It won't be long before the franchise created by Rise Frank Waterfield launches its biggest crossover yet. So that is pictured here is the Pinocchio Unstrung poster as well. Let me see if it'll show. And this one is the Bambi the Reckoning poster. I think that one looks pretty cool. I always like the idea of making um something so innocent, so horrific. That's why I've always liked dolls, because dolls are something that kids play with, but making giving them a sinister side, I always found a creepy appeal to that. So this I'm kind of exciting. I'm just hoping the execution is good, because after watching Pooh Blood and Honey, I was kind of disappointed about that. But I'm willing to give these a chance. They look cool, sound cool, something different. Why not? And thank you for gifting another 5 memberships. Welcome, Newfie, Giggles, Pekka, CC, Michael, to the Wolf Pack. Thanks again, Anne. Hearts for Anne. Again, thank you, Anne. You are awesome. You rock. And welcome the new Wolf Pack members. Don't be afraid to say hi. We do not bite. We're like a big old family here. So, guys, what do you think of the Pooniverse? Kimberly Ann goes, not afraid of. Anne is on a roll tonight. Thanks again, Anne. Hearts for Anne again. Welcome, Lorraine, one Dag Dreamer, Shannon, Missouri Henry, and Holly Monster to the Wolfpack. Hearts for Anne again. Thank you. Thank you, Anne. Thank you. Here's, I don't know, I'm making like this weird heart thing, but thank you, Anne. You're awesome. And welcome all the new Wolfpack members. What do you guys think of the Pooniverse? Are you guys excited for it? Do you think it's rubbish? I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance. It looks it sounds interesting. It's something different. It's better to me. It's better than what they've been doing lately. They've been announcing reboots, and reboots kind of are annoying. I get why they're doing that. They're trying to bring the classics to this generation, but the classics are meant to be classics and meant to stay that way. So, in my opinion, it's like, don't mess with the originals. Lisa Bugos Pinocchio might be okay, and maybe Bambi. I know I had mentioned they have made, I don't know how many Pinocchios, but there is one out there. I don't think I've seen it. I know of it, but I don't think I've seen it. But there is a Pinocchio out there. They have horrified Pinocchio already. I don't. Anne, thanks again. Whoa, thank you, Anne. Welcome, Allison, Becky, JT, Jules, Pixie Dusted, Justice, Duchess, Driz LA, Viva, and Lulu to, and you and I care. What is up? Welcome. Hearts for Anne again. Thank you, Anne. You're amazing. And welcome all the new Wolfpack members. Welcome, welcome, welcome. real quick, guys, before I get into the nitty gritty with the witch doctors. Um, I did notice today that if you guys have been following me, I I follow the Conjuring House drama with the owner, Jacqueline Nunez, and how she's going off her rocker, how she was using the Facebook page, and just kind of, using it, like venting, using it as her personal Facebook pages. I felt like it. I noticed today that it's gone. Um, so it's been shut down or temporarily shut down. I don't know for how long, but the Conjuring House Facebook page is no longer. Even when you search it on Facebook, it comes out with some other page, which I don't even know if it's the real one, but the official Conjuring House page is now officially gone, so we will not see her rantings anymore. I don't know if she's been following YouTube maybe, and she's been seeing that we've been talking about her, and there's some YouTubers I know have been talking about the posts that are on the Facebook page. But it is no longer. So I mean, I guess that's a plus. We won't have to see her rants, her crazy rants, as I feel like they were. It had nothing to do with the Conjuring House. It was more for her narrative and uh pushing what she believed in. I felt like, because she was even giving book recommendations for some psychological books or something like that. So it is no longer there, guys. I guess I mean, it's a step forward, something new. We won't have to see her crazy rants anymore, so I'm kind of cool with that. Maybe someone told her to stop talking on it, which is a good thing. I would think, because there's a lot of people. I mean, there's a case against her, and stuff like that. So I would think someone would tell her, to kind of, lay low and not talk about things. So that is a good thing. Yes, Emily's like, wow, thank God. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Um, Somebody finally told her, like, you know what, lay low. You got people, you got a case against you. You're put a sock in it. Like, being nice about it though, and saying put a stock in it, because she just was going on and on. And I would think, like, if she had lawyers, they would tell her, calm down. So it is gone. No more crazy rants, as far as I know. I don't know for how long, but we'll see. So I mean, I guess that's good news for right now. I didn't think she was going to do that, but hey, that's awesome. That's a plus. All right, guys, I found this cool article. I mean, I have a lot of cool articles, but I did find this cool article about witch doctors. I am a spiritual person, so I kind of do uh I do believe in them. I do believe in their practices. Maybe more so I'm more thinking of the witch doctors from the Renaissance period, where you had, or they didn't really call them witch doctors. They called them more like witches. So I feel like it's almost the same thing, like where the kings had their, or witch or warlock in their cellar, telling them what needed to be done, type of thing. I feel like these witch doctors were more healing purposes, I feel like, than with that type of witch. But Wendy, what is up? So the surprising truth, about witch doctors, from their shadowy history to their modern practices. Also known as shamans or medicine men, witch doctors can be found from Peru to China to South Africa, but they're not all what you may think. Witch doctors are the victims of some truly unfortunate irony. While considered noble healers and guardians who would protect others from witches and general malady, many popularly understand these herbalists as witches themselves, by virtue, I never thought they were witches by virtue of the roles, but I can get why people would think they were witches. I mean, if you were way back in the day, I mean, if you thought of something differently, they accused you of being a witch. Or if you believed something different from the king or the queen, they would off with your head type of thing. So I do kind of feel that people got a bad rap, including witches. By virtue of the role's inherent traditionalism, most cultures, witch doctors are still doing the same thing they were doing back when they were considered the good guys. But with the development of modern medicine, medical science, and negative stereotypes created and perpetuated by colonists, the shifting scales of history have dumped witch doctors on the wrong side of the fence. Today, many people in the Western world implicitly believe witch doctors to be uninformed at best and malevolent at worst. Same goes for shamans, healers, and all the other various practitioners of divination and traditional medicine who are still found in dozens of cultures around the world. Some of these practitioners make an honest living, but most are trotted out at festivals, often willingly, only as human curios, living museum pieces, emblematic of a comfortingly distant past. But whether their roles are ceremonial or not, what part do shamans, witch doctors, and the like play in the world today? Below, learn more about witch doctors and their controversial history, and above, look through 29 photos of traditional healers from around the world, which I will show you after I finish this article. A brief history of medicine men and shamans. Witch doctors have existed in one form or another in cultures across the globe since ancient times. Traditionally, they were healers and spiritual leaders who depended on spells and rituals to cure ailments. In Native American cultures, for example, medicine men and women conducted ceremonies to cure diseases and control spirits, though the details of such ceremonies are often kept secret from outsiders. Artist George Catlin witnessed a medicine man at work at Fort Union, present day North Dakota, in 1832. Caitlin watched as the healer gave a sick man different roots and herbs before shaking his frightful rattlers and singing songs of incantation. As Caitlin wrote in his book, Illustration of the Manners, Customs, and Conditions of the North American Indians, the man wore the skins of the snakes and frogs and bats, beaks and toes and tails of birds, hoofs of deer, goats, and antelopes, which were somehow deformed and therefore filled with healing power. Here is a illustration of George Caitlin's medicine man. Elsewhere, including South America, Asia, and Celtic Europe, shamans long played an important role as healers and spiritual guides. They were known for entering a trance in order to help their communities, often by healing illness, changing the weather, or exorcising evil demons. So, how did they earn the name witch doctors? Wendy goes, I worked with a Reiki master and borrowed new books before I became a nurse. I wanted all the elements. Oh, with the song Bing Bing Wallaby. The witch doctor song from the Chickmunks. Now we're all gonna have that song stuck in our head. What are witch doctors? Inside the debate over the term, witch doctors have operated in places like Africa since ancient times. The term, which was coined by white colonists, is sometimes used to describe herbalists and healers who play a similar role as medicine men and shamans. For example, places like Tanzania often have a village babu. These healers use their knowledge of plants and herbs as well as spiritual realm to treat patients. However, significant confusion surrounds the term witch doctor and healer, though National Geographic notes that the term witch doctor is often a derogatory term for traditional healer. They also report that witch doctors are different from healers. Namely, witch doctors use spells to heal illnesses or other ailments that are blamed on witchcraft. Likewise, as reported by the New York Times in 1970, an African professor visiting the city explained during a lecture that the term witch doctor was simply an invention of foreigners to describe healers. You can also say medicine man. Medicine men kind of was the same term, but not so, I guess, not so without the word witch in it. Either way, these healers have continued to operate into modern times. The role of witch doctors in today's world. Belief in witches and witch doctors continue in places like Africa to this day. In 2009, witch doctors in Gambia kidnapped some 100,000 people, or 1,000 people, suspected of being witches. They were taken to detention centers. Oh my God. Detention centers, beaten and forced to drink hallucinogenic concoctions that left many severely ill. This witch hunt was purportedly triggered by President Yahya Jammeh, who believed that his family had been victims of witchcraft. Indeed, National Geographic reports that fear of witches have resulted in violence against people with albinism in Africa, since witch doctors purportedly believe that their body parts and hair have magical powers. There also has been reported conflicts around people with HIV and AIDS, as the spread of the disease is often blamed on witchcraft. That I have never heard of that. That's something new to me. That said, many people also seek out witch doctors for help with ailments and illnesses. Some Westerners have even turned to these traditional healers because they found modern medicine lacking. I mean, I would try them if I've exhausted all my options. I would definitely give it a chance. What about you guys? Would you guys try a medicine man or witch doctor um to help with your ailments? According to a 1978 article from the Washington Post, an American public relations executive named Sheldon Ritter decided to visit a witch doctor for help with a persistent limp that Western medicine couldn't cure. During a trip to Senegal, he sought out a healer who told him he had bad blood. The healer made 18 small incisions on Ritter's knee, covered the area in brown powder, and wrapped it in a bandage. To Ritter's shock, his limp all but disappeared. Similarity, the National Geographic shows the witch doctor will see you now followed people who turned to witch doctors because Western medicine had failed to help them. A woman with asthma reportedly drank hallucinogenic tea and broth from a boiled termite nest in Peru. Someone with chronic back pain underwent tongue acupuncture. In China, people with tinnitus and eczema were treated with cow urine and yoga in India. And a woman who had claustrophobia and panic attacks ate the still beating heart of a slaughtered chicken in Africa. As such, the legacy of witch doctors and shamans and medicine men is very much alive today. Take a look at what modern witch doctors look like in the stunning gallery above, which I will show in a minute. Julissa was like, no. Lisa B goes, natural medicine. Delia goes, no, I'll probably use an indigenous Indian priestess to help evil spirits away. Lisa Bugo's not sure about the urine. I know some of those things. I'm with you. I'm not sure about the urine, but I mean, I would try herbs. I would definitely try herbs, and I would try the gentleman with the knee element or ailment. How they basically just let it bleed. I know in Korea, because I've seen my stepmom do it. One of my step cousins weren't feeling well, so they they like released some blood. So that kind of makes sense to me. Because I've actually seen it, so it does make sense. I don't know how it works or what it would do, but that statement makes sense to me. Julissa goes, natural medicine like herbs are good, but I wouldn't go to a witch doctor. But what about like a medicine man though? Because a medicine man kind of uses herbs. Not, but I guess a witch doctor is more of they more do spells according to this article. But I mean, if I exhausted all my, I don't know about eating a heart of a chicken, stuff like that. But I mean, if I exhausted all my um options medically and it wasn't doing anything and it just seemed to get worse or not even improve, I would try to do something. Wendy goes, I'd go to a shaman. I would try herbs. I would go to a medicine man or a shaman. Maybe not a witch I mean, I'm kind of with you on that, Julius. I probably wouldn't go to a witch doctor, but I would go the herb way. I would go for sure. I mean, what do you have to lose, honestly? If you tried everything, if you exhausted everything you've tried. So here is a gallery of different. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay, yeah, you guys can see that. So it says a witch doctor participates in the Ivory Coast annual Popo Carnival held in Banua. The festival features expected events, um, culinary competitions, parades, and dancing, as well as a mock recreation of the brutality Ivorians faced while under French colonial rule. A shaman dressed in traditional Yi costume performs at the Torch Festival in Zhejiang, China in 2016. This Yi shaman performed at the Torch Festival by holding a streaming hot shovel in his mouth. An indigenous Shanika shaman wears jaguar fur during a ceremony for the success of the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. That looks kind of cool. And Indonesia, I probably won't show that one because that one, but it's an Indonesian. Hold on, let me click off it because it's kind of graphic and I don't want to show that one, but I'll read it. So give me a second. So that picture was an Indonesian shaman spits blood after ritualistically biting into a chicken during the Cap Go May festival or Meh festival, the closing event of the Chinese New Year celebration in Jakarta. This one's a witch doctor says prayers outside the hospital where Nelson Mandela was being treated for a lung infection on July 2nd of 2013 in Pretoria, South Africa. Shaman masks and outfits on display in an exhibit at the Croix Branly Museum in Paris. A shaman of the Short Sea Nation plays drums celebrating their new year, which coincides with the vernal equinox in the Kemerovo region of Siberia and Russia. A shaman takes part in a Maya celebration in Guatemala City to commemorate the anniversary of the peace agreement that brought to an end to Guatemala's 36-year civil war that began in 1960. That kind of has blood into it too. A witch doctor in South Africa. Just to give you a few things, because I don't know what the pictures are going to show, so I'll just give you a little preview. Wendy makes homemade dog food. Oh, that's kind of cool. So this next article, so guys, what do you think of witch doctors? I know I asked earlier, some of you said no, you would go to a shaman or you would go to an herbalist, but just no spells. Which I get it. But it's still kind of cool to see different cultures. And stuff like that. Lisa Boo goes, interesting. I found it interesting. All right, guys, this isn't really spooky, but this kind of irritated me. Ghosts are mentioned in this, but this kind of really irritated me, and I'm sure it's going to irritate y'all too. But a mom and grandma blame ghost for toddlers' broken bones, bite marks, burns, and fentanyl exposure. This really irritated me. I was like, come on. Like, really, own up to what you did. North Carolina, I know this isn't really spooky, but just the fact that they're trying to blame a ghost irritates me. Because I believe in spirits, but like this, this is ridiculous. Mom and grandma blame ghosts for toddlers' broken bones, bite marks, burns, and the fentanyl exposure. In North Carolina, mother and grandmother are facing charges of child abuse, causing serious bodily injury after two toddlers suffered broken bones, bite marks, burns, and fentanyl exposure as the woman blames ghosts. I'm like, hell no. A North Carolina mom and grandma accused of heinous child abuse that included fentanyl exposure is blaming paranormal activity, ghost, for the wounds two toddlers suffered. Emily Marie Edwards, 25, and her mother, Sherry Jean Edwards, 54, were each arrested and charged with 2 counts each of felony child abuse causing serious bodily injuries and booked into the Catawba County Jail, records obtained by Law and Crime reveal. The woman allegedly told law enforcement officers upon their arrest that it had been ghosts who caused the injuries. The basic response really was nightmares. Newton Police Chief Vital Sip told Charlotte-based local station WSOC. Sip, I don't know if that's how he pronounces it. I do apologize in advance. Continued. They heard the kids yelling and they'd go over there and they'd see injuries on the kids. So they're saying there's spirits that were in the house at the time that caused these injuries. It's like, just own up. Like, here is Emily, and her mother, Sherry, pictured. Copies of the indictment, which were obtained by the TV station, states that the woman showed reckless disregard of life as they inflicted serious bodily injury on both young children, ages 1 and 2. The toddler suffered burns, bite marks, and several broken bones. It was reported they also both tested positive for drugs, according to the indictments. The pair was eventually arrested last week after investigation that lasted from December 2023 to earlier this month. The family reportedly lived at an apartment on West C Street in Newton, which is a small town about 40 miles northwest of Charlotte. A third adult may have also been responsible for the child abuse, the police speculated, but he reportedly died last year. The woman subsequently became the only suspects. Both women reportedly told the police they used a Ouija board to summon spirits, but also blamed evil spirits for abusing their children. Like, really, honestly, just like own up to what you did. Like, don't blame a ghost. Law enforcement, as well as neighbors, however, say they don't believe paranormal activity had anything to do with the child's abuse. Both parties are being held at $250,000 bond. The mother reportedly doesn't have a court date set as of yet, but the grandmother is slated to appear on October 7th. Both are facing multiple years in prison for their alleged crime. Like, this pisses me off. Like, honestly, own up to your actions. Do not blame a ghost. And I do believe in ghosts. And I know some people have had experiences where ghosts scratch them, but come on, no. That is just evil, like Julissa says. They are evil. They do not deserve kids. Period. And thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 16 months. Is butt cheeks one word or spread apart? Hearts for Ann, guys. Thank you, Ann, for your 16 months. Wendigo's children are not fair game. It's abuse. It just, when I saw that article, I was fuming. I was like, what the hell? I mean, do they really think people are going to believe that a ghost did that? Regardless if you're playing with the Ouija board or not, I think it would more affect the person doing the Ouija board than the people. I mean, it'll affect everybody, but like, realistically, did they really think that was going to pass in court? Like, honestly. That is just wrong. Kimberly goes, I'm not using the Ouija board. Lisa Boo taking no responsibility. Exactly. They're taking no responsibility of their actions. Like, how would they not think that anybody would find out what they were doing, too? Like, honestly, it just makes no sense. Joanne goes, I think the two adults were high. They might have been. There was it did mention a third adult, but it didn't say what happened to the third adult. Apparently, the third adult had passed. But even so, it's like they don't deserve those children. There's women dying to have children that can't have children of their own, that would die to have a child. And you've got these two women that don't give a rat's ass about anybody but themselves. And that annoys me. It really does. Those two kids did not. I'm glad they're out of that situation, but they're going to be scarred for life because of it. And those two kids, 1 and 2, did not deserve that crap. Joanne goes, the child was exposed to drug. Yeah, they tested positive for drugs. So that's just like, Emily goes, seriously, rammed with pineapples in hell. Exactly. Like, it irritates me hearing stories about kids and what they went through, and their parents. Like, they don't deserve those kids at all. They didn't deserve to have the kid in the first place. All right, guys, my next article. I think this creepy footage shows my dead husband's ghost visiting our home. I'm kind of, when it comes to videos, I think I'm always going to be skeptical unless I've actually seen it myself, or if I'm the one catching it on video. But even if I'm the one catching on video, I'm still going to question it. Um, A woman believes she may have captured the ghost of her dead husband returning to their house in some chilling home security camera footage, and people online are convinced. A widow believes chilling security camera footage might show the ghost of her husband visiting her home. Emily Snyder from Anson, Texas, recently shared 2 videos to the ghost caught on camera group on Facebook. In her post, she explains her husband Jeremy passed away on August 18th, 2021. Nearly 1 year to the day later, on August 17th of 2022, Emily said she received a motion alert from the front porch, cameras at the family home. The clips show some sort of grainy figure seemingly appearing out of thin air before peering over an object at the bottom of the frame. The figure then vanishes. I will show you the picture, the video, when I finish the article. Emily added, knowing what Jeremy looks like, we were struck by the similarities. It is just grief-fueled perception. I'm torn between wanting so desperately to believe that he still exists somewhere, somehow, but also trying to explain this rationality. She also shared a photograph of her husband showing him to be bald on the top with a horseshoe hairline on the back and sides. He also had quite pronounced ears and a long beard. Her post racked up more than 100 likes, and paranormal enthusiasts seem convinced the footage shows Jeremy's ghost. Reacting in the comment section, one said, looks like him to me. Same ears, same hairline. A second said, definitely looks like him, stopping by to say hello. And if it gives you peace, then he accomplished what he was trying to do. And a third said, oh my God, that's a man. He does look like your husband. I I would say it could be. Who knows? I've had weird things happen to me when a death happened in my family. However, not everyone is convinced. One said, sorry for your loss, but I'm not seeing it at all. And a second wrote, sorry for your loss. And while I'm sure he is always with you, this is something on or just in front of the lens. So here is, I believe it is right here, if I'm not mistaken. So this is what she caught on her Waze cam. I'm assuming it's her. I don't know where it's located, if it's her front yard or side yard, but that is what she saw. Is this white cloudy figure in the bottom, almost bottom center of the screen. I don't know where she sees a person. Lisa Boo, I think that's sweet. He came to visit. Joanne goes, neighbors pranking. I mean, it doesn't look like anybody to me. But then that article did not show a picture of her husband. I mean, it does. It does look like a person now that the more I look at it, but Joanne, you could be right. It could be a neighbor. It doesn't necessarily mean, but I wonder if there's a picture of her husband somewhere on here. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to see if there's a picture of her husband because this article did not show. Let's see. Darn, it does not show a picture of her. Here's another video. This one looks like a different angle. Give me a second, guys. I mean, if you kind of look, it does look like a guy with a receding hairline and the ears right there. But I mean, if she believes, I kind of agree with you, Lisa Boo. If it gives her peace, then what's the harm? Exactly, I agree. If it gives her peace, then what does it matter? The matter of the fact is that it gives her peace knowing that her husband's okay. You know what I mean? I I'm pretty sure we all thought about that when we have lost a loved one or even a pet. So to have a signal or anything from that loved one or our lost pet is golden because it tells us that they're coming back to let us know that they're okay. So I'm kind of agreeing with you, Lisa Boo. Like if it helps her, that's what counts. I honestly don't see anything, but I probably would think the same thing if I had lost my husband and I see this weird um thing popping up on my camera. I probably think the same thing. So I mean, if it helps her move on and helps her grieve, good for her. Carol goes, so strange, doesn't look like a person to me. Joanne going, scaring her to move out so they could buy the house. Possibility. But honestly, if she believes that's her husband, that's what counts. You know what I mean? Because if it will help her grieve. Wendy goes, I'll take my peace, however, I'll get it. I know Halloween will be here before we know it. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe it's October. I'm waiting for summer to end. And then before I know it, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, it's winter. The time this year has gone by so quickly, it's like crazy. So do you guys remember when I talked about the Chicago Mothman, but I didn't really talk about the Mothman one, but um apparently the I found this article on the Silver Bridge collapse. Some people believe that the Mothman had caused this to occur. What really happened the evening the Silver Bridge collapsed in 1967? I had never really heard about this until I was reading about the Mothman. Kimberly goes, Helly, oh my gosh, Kimberly, I need to find that doll that's not overpriced. The Hello Kitty Chucky doll. That is so awesome. I don't know. Have any of you guys heard of the Silver Bridge collapse? I have never heard of it. Like I was saying, until I was reading about the Mothman. During rush hour on December 15th, 1967, the Silver Bridge over the Ohio River collapsed. And I know Chris Barber had mentioned that he was there when this happened, or she was there. I apologize. She was there. I think she had said that she was here, and too bad she's not in the chat. I think she had said that she was there when this happened, but I'm not 100% sure. The Silver Bridge over the Ohio River collapsed, and some believe the mythical Mothman was responsible. About a week before Christmas 1967, rush hour traffic crawled across the Silver Bridge that connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio. I apologize if I butchered that. Dozens of cars sat bumper to bumper on the structure. Then, without warning, the Silver Bridge collapsed into the Ohio River. 31 vehicles plunged into the water, taking 64 people with them. In the end, 46 victims lost their lives on that fateful day. Tragically, 2 of the bodies were never found, and 9 other people were left injured. Lisa Boo goes, no, I didn't hear about it until until you saw it in the article. Emily watched the movie. Eerily, in the months leading up to the Silver Bridge collapse, multiple locals had reported seeing a mysterious creature in and around Point Pleasant. They described the legendary Mothman as a 7-foot tall beast with a wingspan of 10 feet and the ability to fly as fast as 100 miles per hour. While most people didn't take the Mothman sighting seriously at first, the local tragedy caused some to reconsider. But what actually made the Silver Bridge collapse? Could it have possibly been prevented? And why did some people blame the mythical Mothman for causing the disaster? The construction of the Silver Bridge. Long before the Silver Bridge collapsed in 1967, locals had been complaining about the swaying structure for years. One survivor, Ben Cedar, recalled, I was worried about the bridge every time I crossed over. If you got stuck in the middle of that bridge, it would wave back and forth, back and forth. First opened in 1928, the Silver Bridge had been designed by J.E. Grenier Company and built by the precursor to the West Virginia Ohio Bridge Company, as well as the American Bridge Company. It was a 2-lane, 1760-foot long I-bar suspension bridge, and it took a year to finish. From the very beginning, the builders cut corners. The bridges was originally meant to be suspended with traditional wire cables. However, an alternate bid for an I-bar design ended up being cheaper. Plus, this design would make the bridge one of the first structures of its kind in the United States. But decades later, its design failed to meet modern standards. When the Silver Bridge was first built in the 20s, the average car weighed about 1,500 pounds. By the 60s, most cars weighed about 3,000 pounds. Holly Monster, what is up? Those are adorable. I found a set of both Chucky and Tiffany Hello Kitties for just under 50 on Amazon. I will have to look because I've been finding just one of them for like 50 and I'm like, nah. Though they're cool. I'm just waiting for the right price to pop up. Up to 4,000 of these heftier vehicles made their way across the bridge per day, causing stress of the eye bars. Meanwhile, the bridge itself still looked largely the same as it did when it was first constructed in the 20s. Still, the Silver Bridge was inspected somewhat regularly, and after one inspection in 1965, the structure underwent about 30,000 in repairs. Two further inspections followed in the summer of 67, but no one would be able to detect a crucial problem with one of the bridge's eye bars. Though these eye bars were vital for the structural integrity of the bridge, there was no way to properly inspect them without taking them apart. So no one knew that an eye bar had become defective until it was too late. To make matters worse, the bridge had been constructed with very little redundancy, meaning that if one part failed, there was practically nothing in place to keep the rest of the structure from failing too. Inside the Silver Bridge collapse, at about 5 p.m. on December 15th, 1967, a pregnant woman named Charlene Wood was driving home from work when she went over the Silver Bridge, but then she noticed a vibration beneath her and reversed her car. Just as she made it back to the precipice, the bridge gave out in front of her. Oh my God, something told her to move out of the way. State Trooper Rudy Odell was one of the first responders on scene. When he got there, 31 cars and 64 people had already fallen into the Ohio River. By the end of the night, 46 people had either drowned in the water or died on impact as sections of the bridge landed on top of their vehicles. That is crazy sad. I could hear them hollering for help, recalled Odell. There was absolutely nothing I could do. It was a long way out into the water. While some survivors like Wood witnessed the incident up close, other survivors like Cedar had traveled over the bridge just moments before it collapsed and only heard about the disaster after the fact. Other survivors had to be pulled from the water. However, Boggs was one man who was saved by a rescue boat with his wife and child nowhere to be found. Their bodies would later be discovered in the family car. It would take weeks for the victims to be recovered. Since the collapse had crushed so many of the cars below, workers were unable to lift the vehicles out of the water until the bridge pieces could be removed. The U.S. Army Corps engineers leased 50-ton cranes to local authorities to help. Meanwhile, the job of tagging victims' bodies fell to Odell, who identified some people who he personally knew, including a father and his young son. Sadly, two bodies of known victims remain missing to this day. While the cause of the deadly collapse would later be revealed as a construction issue, coupled with an overload of traffic, some wondered whether the bridge disaster was caused by something far more ominous. After all, throughout the late 60s, many witnessed in and around Point Pleasant had reported seeing the legendary Mothman. Though the flying humanoid creature was bright red-eyed, seemed like an outlandish urban legend, the Silver Bridge collapse made some residents think twice about it. The legacy of the Mothman Bridge. Soon after the disasters, authorities rerouted the Silver Bridge's pathway to a hastily prepared ferry system and other local bridges. Though it seemed like a decent temporary fix, the economic loss would soon climb to about $1 million per month. It was clear that a replacement was needed. President Lyndon B. Johnson expressed shock at the cruel tragedy and loss of life. In 1968, Johnson ordered a federal state program to commence reconstruction. A year later, Silver Bridge would be replaced by Silver Memorial Bridge, which was about a mile south of the old structure. Johnson also ordered the Presidential Task Force on Bridge Safety to look into the collapse and general bridge safety across America. The National Transportation Safety Board also investigated the Silver Bridge disaster. It wasn't until April 1971 when the National Transportation Safety Board finally revealed the cause of the Silver Bridge disaster. So it wasn't until a couple years later. A cleavage fracture in the lower limb of the eye of the eye bar 330. The fracture was caused by the development of a critical size flaw over the 40-year life of the structure as a result of a joint action of stress corrosion and corrosion fatigue. While the Silver Bridge collapse is mostly remembered as a tragic failure of engineering and inspection, it also remembered for its unusual connection with the Mothman. In 1975, author John Keel linked the Mothman claims to the Silver Bridge disaster in his book, The Mothman Prophecies. His story is a significant reason why Point Pleasant is now a famous place for conspiracy theorists and ufologists. Some believe that the Mothman had tried to warn people the bridge collapsed, but others think that the beast caused it to happen. Alleged Mothman activity aside, there's no doubt that the Silver Bridge collapse was one of the worst bridge disasters in the U.S. history, and that tragic night still lives on in the memories of those who survived. So, guys, I honestly don't think it's the Mothman that caused it, but I do think it is because when it was built, the cars weren't as heavy as they are at the time that it collapsed. So it wasn't built to handle the weight that went over, and after a while, it just decided to kaplook. But it is sad. Wendy goes, I avoid bridges as much as I can. Carol goes, the movie The Mothman depicted it as a warning a disaster was going to happen. That's what some say. Wendy goes, I lived in Florida 13 years, never went to the Keys, that bridge and all. I mean, if he was trying to give a sign, of course, nobody was heeding that sign or looking into it. They were more like, what is this creature? But it is sad that that happened. And the woman that drove on the bridge and saw that it was vibrating, she decided to drive off and then it collapsed. Oh my gosh, she had an angel on her side for sure. That was crazy. All right, guys, for any of you going to Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, I did find an article that was showing the food. I'm not sure if it's going to be at the Hollywood one, Hollywood Universal Studios here in Los Angeles. But here's a first look. I always like looking at the food that they have because it's always kind of interesting. I feel like if I bought the food, I wouldn't be able to eat it. It's too cool to eat. But here's the first look at the food and drinks coming to Halloween Horror Nights 2024 at Universal Orlando. Halloween Horror Nights is the event of the best season of horror lovers, Halloween season lovers, theme park lovers, and so many more passionate people alike. Of course, every year, eager fans, new and old, clamor to hear which haunted house Universal Orlando will feature. This year, there are some horrific choices inspired by beloved franchises like A Quiet Place, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, and Insidious. Halloween Horror Nights 2024 will also bring to life a series of incredibly haunted original houses we're excited about, like the all-female Eternal Bloodline Excursion, Monstros, The Monsters of Latin America. Ooh, that sounds cool. And Goblin Feast. So are we going to have La Llorona there and Goblin Feast? But let's face it, and the Chupacabra. But let's face it, the one thing everyone wants to know more about is what new delicious twisted food and drinks will be available at Halloween Horror Nights in 2024. Do I have to click on that? Like, where is it? There it is. The fantastic new food offerings at Halloween Horror Nights 2024 in Universal Orlando. At Nerdist, we know the beauty can be found even in the darkest tales, and Halloween Horror Nights 2024 is taking that to a whole new level with its 2024 food offerings. I believe Horror Nights starts Labor Day weekend, if I'm not mistaken. It'll probably tell us in this article. If not, I'll look it up. From the chance to literally eat the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, that's a little dark. I know Matthew had shared an article in the Discord about it, or a picture about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, to an indulgence in pumpkin guts, the most gorgeous guts you'd ever did see. Halloween Horror Nights is raising the bar on ghoulishness this year. Of course, horror is all about inclusion and helping everyone to see themselves on the screen and in the park. So don't you worry if you're not a cannibal. There's plenty of vegan food items at 2024 Universal Orlando Hollywood Halloween Horror Nights. So, I mean, here's one of them. This is the wooden board and Claire, inspired by A Quiet Place. Okay, that looks kind of cool, I guess. I'm trying to think of where in The Quiet Place that's from. This Halloween Horror Nights dessert is a spicy dark chocolate pastry cream filled eclair dip in chocolate ganache with a bloody chocolate plank. Emerging from the chocolate stairs that decorate this amazing Halloween Horror Nights food offering is a familiar form that a Quiet Place fan will surely recognize. We are absolutely obsessed with how detailed and gorgeous this gory eclair looks. The puddle of blood decorating that perfectly metallic chocolate nail may bring a Quiet Place fan to tears, and not just because a nail ended up stuck in their foot. We feel it's unlikely you'll accidentally step on the eclair, but here's a reminder not to make a sound when you bite into it, not even one of pure joy. They'll hear you. The mini Stay Puft S'mores, inspired by Ghostbuster Frozen Empire. I don't think I can eat this. I don't know about you guys. This is too cool to eat. It looks really good though, too. I feel like I can't eat this. This. But then again, you kind of have to. You can't keep this. Heather, whatever. What is up? Wendy goes, I will not eat the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Exactly. How can there's no way. That looks so cool. This mini Stay Puft S'more has us absolutely busting out of the seams. Poor Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He does cause a lot of chaos, but he surely did not deserve this fate. At least he's delicious in his final form. This Halloween Horror Night 2024 food item inspired by Ghostbusters Frozen Empire comprises of a mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, chocolate bar, and graham cracker. We bet he's ooey gooey on the inside, but like his movie counterparts, he's so cute, it'll be hard to eat him. But just imagine you doing this mini Stay Puft Marshmallow Man a favor by gulping him down. The Slimer Korean Corn Dog, a Halloween Horror Night 2024 food item inspired by Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. That doesn't look like Slimer, but Ghostbusters Frozen Empire reminded us just how much Slimer loves his junk food, especially Cheetos. Halloween Horror Nights wants you to indulge in a pile of the best worst treats, just like Slimer. With the food option, Slimer's Korean Corn Dog is a Korean cheese dog with Fritos coated with Cheetos, Cheeto powder, ghost pepper spice, sage, derby cheese, and mozzarella. That's right. This decadent treat has Fritos, Cheetos, and two kinds of cheese. Slimer would be proud to haunt this pile of these. I mean, I guess I could eat that because it's cheese, but it's probably not. It probably wouldn't be like good on your stomach. The red door, inspired by the Insidious. The further in the Insidious universe, the inside of the red door contains fearsome demons, but yeah, I wish they would have made a demon like cookie or something. That would have been cool. But at Halloween Horror Night, at Universal Orlando, the red door contains potato and onions instead, as much more delicious options if we do say so ourselves. Additionally, instead of trying to consume your soul, this version of the red door is much friendlier and is in fact a vegan ham pie. We love that the pastry concoction has perfectly captured the bold color of Insidious's iconic entryway and even includes that nefarious T-shape. So go on, consume this delicious demonic portal if you can. This is one Halloween Horror Nights food item you will definitely be lining up to try. The Bride's Cake, inspired by Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines. That looks cool. We are so excited for Halloween. Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodline House and the food item that it inspires. For the uninitiated, the Epic Halloween House invites you to get caught in an epic battle as Shakia, Van Helsing and the Bride of Frankenstein go up against Dracula's daughter and her monstrous mavens. The haunted house sounds like it could offer up some very queer horror adventures, and we feel obsessed with it. But what it will absolutely give us is the bride's cake. In practice, this Halloween Horror Night food item is a chocolate-coated 3-tier vanilla cake with raspberry jam. But in practice, it kind of looks like the bride turned Frankenstein into a cake, or herself became a cake. The interior is shook green, and it appears to ooze raspberry blood. We're pro this cannibalistic cake is what we're saying, and we can't wait to cut into it. The Heartbeat Tostada, a Halloween Horror Nights food item inspired by Monstruoso, the monsters of Latin America. Heartbeat, we see what Halloween Horror Nights did there with the title of the for the Monstros. The Monsters of Latin America inspired food item. Monstros, the Monsters of Latin America, is another original haunted house. We are trembling with fright, excitement to visit. This one actually sounds interesting to me. This maze does sound interesting, but we're sure its associated food item will be just as much as shriekingly a good time. The Heartbeat Tostada includes a red beet tartar with hummus, vegan feta, and watercress on a crispy tortilla. It's another vegan food item from Halloween Horror Nights. A poison apple inspired by Major Sweets Candy Factory. Major Sweets Candy Factory has better inspired something seriously good, or Major Sweet might have to hang up his hat. But honestly, this poison apple looks iconic, so Major Sweets in the clear. The wickedly shiny apple is actually a caramel mousse with an apple filling and a strudel cake all transformed into an apple shape. Free samples may turn into killers in the Major Sweets Candy Factory haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights, but we will certainly take some samples of the food item if they cross our paths. The pumpkin guts inspired by Goblin's Feast. That looks kind of interesting. It does. The Goblin's Feast haunted house will turn its visitors into food items on the menu. The description for this haunted house shares: enter a goblin village where a feast is being prepared for goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches, and you're the main course, but outside the village, it's us who will feast, in this case on pumpkin guts, which are butternut squash and zucchini noodles with pumpkin seeds and brown butter inside an acorn squash. The vegan treat is sure to satisfy with all its guts and ooze. Halloween Horror knows that even vegan orcs need something to munch on. Every orc is different after all. It's kind of cool to see plant-based options. Because usually sometimes when I go to these things, they don't have a good variety, because I am plant-based myself, so some of these things don't have good options. Harissa barbecue turkey wing, another Halloween food item inspired by Goblin's Feast. Orcs do love to say that meat is on the menu, though, so this saucy wing, which looks almost disturbingly good, is just the right offering for them. This food item is crispy turkey wing coated with a spicy harissa barbecue sauce, perfect for orcs or when you turn into a goblin because your stomach is rumbling. This beautiful new drink offering at... They keep... I mean, why do they... I already know it's Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. I noticed, like, this article keeps... repeating. In addition to the demonically decadent food items on offer at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando, there are several drink options to die for. Check them out below. Dia de los Muertos shake, the chocolate chili ice cream, milk Dia de los Muertos cookie, edible marigold and orange streak whipped toppings come in a black mason jar. It's exclusive to the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Chicken in Universal's Kitchen. I said chicken. Oh my God, Lisa. Kitchen in Universal City Walk. The Murderita. Actually, I like this. I wish they would just leave it and call it the Murderita. Who doesn't love their margaritas to try to slay them? This Halloween Horror Night drink may try to kill you, but it will look and taste good doing it. The Murderita contains Cuervo traditional tequila, De Cooper triple sec, lime juice, and agave nectar, and a hint of salt. Night Elixir. We love beautiful drink for those that like to get a drink when you're at Horror Nights. I don't, but I guess there's some people that do. And this night elixir captures the majesty of darkness in all its glittering glory. The night elixir Halloween Horror Nights drink contains Beefeater London Dry Gin, St. German elderflower liquor, the Bitter Truth Violet liquor, lime juice and simple syrup, and blue glitter. Is exclusive to the Dead Coconut Club in the Universal City Walk. And just to come to think of it, they're giving away what it's made out of so you can make it at home. Hint, 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 hint. But it's a cool looking drink. So if you guys are in Orlando, the Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Orlando officially kicks off on August 30th. I'm assuming it's the same here, at Universal Hollywood, and will run through November 3rd. A variety of different tickets are available to make sure you can fully enjoy all this fabulous adventure. Those wanting to have the ultimate Halloween Horror Nights experience, though, should consider attending Universal Orlando's exclusive premium Scream Night event on Thursday, August 29th. This exclusive event will give Halloween Horror Nights fans unprecedented access to scares and excitement in store. And here is, I don't need to read that because that's the press notes. So, guys, any of you planning to go to Universal Horror Nights in Orlando or Hollywood? Wendy goes, please don't consume my soul. It will never happen. Julissa goes, that sounds yummy. Carol goes, I was half expecting the corn dog to be green, right? Because it's Slimer's. It's inspired by Slimer, so that would make sense. I agree with you on that one. Lisa Boo goes, take a pic, then eat. I mean, that's what I probably would do. Because you can't keep it. I mean, if you left it out, the bugs would get to it. So you'd have to eat it. Julissa goes, those edible glitters do make the drinks look cool. The drinks look cool. I mean, like I said, hint, hint, they did give out away what they put in them. So if you guys wanted to make them at home, for those that like to party at home, which is nothing wrong with that. Lisa Boo goes, too far for me, but the food and drinks look good. Kimberly Ann Hurt goes, it looks spooky. Matthew goes, it's inspired by Slimer's food appetite. True. But I mean, it would have been cool if it was green, though, still, Matthew. If it was a green, like if they had it green with, it would still be cool if it was green. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me. All right, guys, I'm going to open it up for questions. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Could be paranormal related. Heather, whatever goes, I'd like to try and duplicate coffee drinks. No. And air fryer goodies like zucchini sticks and buffalo cauliflower. I love using my air fryer. I feel like things are a lot healthier using an air fryer than it is going to like McDonald's. And sometimes making things yourself is a lot healthier because you know what's in it. When you go when you go to some of these places, you don't know what's in it. You don't know what they cooked it with. You don't know what they cooked it next to. Like in my case, I try not to think about that because I try not to be too picky because sometimes I just want to eat. But it's like crazy. Lisa Boo goes, what is your favorite song? I have too many. Well, I could start. Okay, when I was new metal. Well, Bryan Adams, obviously, because my music journey started with Bryan Adams. So we'll start there. So Bryan Adams, everything I do it for you. I fell in love with Bryan Adams because of that song. Like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Not to say that now that I look back at it, Kevin Costner had no English accent or anything, but I still perfectly enjoyed it. Maybe a little cheesier side of the Robin Hood, not cheesier, but I still enjoyed it. Maybe wasn't a good representation of Robin Hood, I'd say, but I still enjoyed it. I like Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. There's so many. I could go on and on and on. Then my new metal era, I like Freak on a Leash by Korn. My favorite music video by Korn is Falling Away From Me, if you guys are familiar. Awake by Godsmack is one of my favorites. Loved the video. A lot of these, I like the songs because of the music video, because I was a huge music video. When they had music videos on TV, I was a huge music video watcher. I always loved watching music videos. So for me, a lot of these come from the music videos. Limp Bizkit, I like Break Stuff, because that's one of those songs when you're really PO'd and you just want to like get aggression, listen to Break Stuff. It'll go right out the door after listening to that song. Stained. I have a favorite music video by Stained. I forgot the name of it. I think it's I'm getting tongue. It's been a while. I love that music video. Cold, No One is one of my favorites. Love the music video. I can't think of anything else because those were like my main favorite bands growing up. If you want to go more recently, like with the dance music side, I love tracks by Armand van Helden. I love his music. Musically, I love him. I've seen him live. I kind of got disappointed because the other DJs were humping his leg. I felt like he was paying. I mean, he paid attention to the crowd, but I felt like the other DJs were so starstruck by him that they were, they were talking to him and like hanging off of him and stuff like that. But he's good. Roger Sanchez, I have not seen him live, but I hope to see him live. He's probably one of my musically, I don't like his music, but I do like how he mixes and stuff like that. Oliver Heldens, I got to meet him. I'm more a fan of his alter ego, which is his techno ego, which is High Low. I like High Low better. Love Eli Brown. I kind of got to meet him. So those are like the main people I kind of like to listen on that side. Dusty, what's up? Wendy, exactly. Gym workout music. Give me something to break. That too. Good question, Lisa Boo. Oh, I remember, Emily, I remember when Matchbox 20, with their debut, that they came out with. I used to love that song. And then, of course, like I forgot to mention Linkin Park. Linkin Park. Oh my God, so many songs that I could relate to with Linkin Park, during that time. So they have so many songs you can relate to. There was the Verb Pipe, there was Matchbox 20, there was the Killers, there was like I could go on and on and on. I love music, so I've listened to music. Was kind of what was my getaway growing up, like in high school and until I was about. It still is. What am I talking about? Wendy goes, I'm eclectic in music taste. I don't define myself. I don't either. I'm kind of eclectic as well, but I have different stages. I mean, I liked Jim Blossoms. I liked Everclear. And then I went to Blink 182, 311. I can't think of some of them because I went blank. And then I went to the harder, like the, Limp Bizkit. So that's kind of where my musical journey went, because I started with Bryan Adams and I went to like Goo Goo Doll, I like Goo Goo Dolls too. Iris. Oh, Iris. I love that song by Goo Goo Dolls. Whew. Memories. Julissa goes, music is good for the soul. It is. Disturbed with David Draymond's vocals. Oh, I should have been on the no, serious, with the amount of music. Like I knew all the artists, I knew all the singers. I probably don't as much now. Like I like a few Slipknot songs, but I prefer Stone Sour because I love Corey's voice. Like I always loved when they sang instead of screaming, because a lot of times they were like, bleh. So not to say that Corey was horrible in Slipknot. He's not. I just preferred Stone Sour. It showed more of his vocal abilities, and I liked the songs better. Not to get me wrong, I did like a few Slipknot fan songs, but I wasn't a huge fan. That reminds me, have you guys seen that? It's a video going around. I think it's on Instagram, and it's Elmo singing "Sugar" by System of a Down. That is hilarious. If you guys have not seen that, look for it. It's Elmo singing "Sugar." It just makes me laugh. It's like, man, 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 man. It's so hilarious. Heather, whatever goes, no screamo. Yes, exactly. I don't like the death metal, thrash metal music. I never could get into that. Nothing wrong if you guys like that. I just could never get into it. Emily goes, I like music from Frank Sinatra to Iron Maiden. That's super cool. Tool, I liked a few of their songs. I liked Sober by Tool. Wasn't a huge Tool fan, but I did like a few of them. Joan Jett had a cool song. I should have been like a radio announcer because of my passion for music. I'm not kidding you. I used to know every single, when it came to nu metal, I knew every album, I knew every song, I knew. It was crazy. Now I don't. I forgot them. I'm like, oh my god, where'd it go? I take those quizzes. There, if you guys ever are bored one day, there's those music quizzes here on YouTube that have you guess the song. So I take those every once in a while. I still remember stuff, so I'm like, okay, that's good. I used to know the bands, the people, the members of the band names, everything. I wasn't much into classic rock or like the hair bands, so I don't know too much about those, but I do know a few. But that is one of my passions. It's always stuck with me since I discovered music. Once I discovered music, it was all downhill from there. Lisa Boo goes, I love the quizzes too. They're so fun. I'll just sit there and I'll be like, oh my God, what was the name of that song? I know this song. And then it pops up. I'm like, ah. Even the adult alternative, I used to listen to that too, or pop. I used to listen to crazy pop songs. Dusty Lane goes, classic rock and pop from the 70s, 80s are my thing. Tricky saying, have you ever heard about Ted Bundy having an obsession with the color blue for some? No, I have not. And I like to follow that's another thing I'm like into. I hate to say it. I do like watching those documentaries about serial killers, and he's the one I tend to watch more. I know more about him, but I've never heard that. I like watching those true crime docs on the like Ted Bundy, Gacy, um and stuff like that, but I have never heard the blue. Huh. That's interesting actually. I'm gonna have to look that up. Tricky saying I heard it once on the internet. I'll have to Google that one and I'll get back with you guys on that one. I've not heard that one. I've Googled it for hours with nothing. I haven't heard it personally. So I can't. Sorry about that. Heather Wetterwood loves to dance. I'm not much of a dancer. I kind of I may not look like I enjoy myself when I'm at those things, but I do enjoy myself. I'm just not much of a dancer. I like to watch, if I go, I like to watch the guitarist, play, or the drummer play, or if I'm at a dance music type one, I like to watch the mix. That's what I like to do. I like to see what they do and how they do their thing, how they woo the crowd, like stuff like that. I guess I'm more of the I like the music, don't get me wrong, but I like watching what they do as they produce the music. Dusty dated Bundy's cousin in the 70s? What? That's crazy. Wendy goes, tell me the deets on that. Wendy, I haven't seen any recent ones, but the ones that I've seen, they're usually on Netflix. I don't know if you have Netflix. They're usually on Netflix. Some on Max. Lately, I've been watching some on Max, so I'm not sure what app you have, Wendy. Tricky, I dig techno. Oh, I love techno music too. That's kind of my jam right now. Heather, whatever, I took aerobic instruction so I wouldn't hurt myself dancing at home. Love flamenco. Oh, that is cool. I'm just not a dance. It's funny. Thing is, I'm not a dancer, but I used to do those like Dance Dance Revolution games, the old ones with the pad, like for Xbox, the original Xbox, like how like the arcade one where you have the pad, not like I mean, I did the Wii one too, but I prefer the like the Dance Dance Revolution ones. The music is better in those, to be honest with you. Which is weird because I'm not much of a dancer, but I'll play those games. Maybe not in an arcade, though. I probably won't. Kimberly Ann goes Fergie and Lady Gaga. I love Lady Gaga. I actually like Lady Gaga, believe it or not. I do like I like Lady Gaga. I saw her in A Star Is Born and I was like, actually no, I saw Lady Gaga. The first time I saw Lady Gaga besides her music was in American Horror Story. And I was super impressed. I was like, wow. And then I saw her in A Star Is Born and I was like, whoa. That Star, if you guys haven't seen that movie, I know it's not horrific, but that movie's pretty good. The more that I'm listening to like older hip hop and older, tracks, I'm finding that a lot of newer artists have sampled these older tracks. And I'm like, because I was listening, because Lewis was showing me one, and I was like, wait a minute, I've heard this song before. And I was like, no, Fergie did this song. So it was the sample that Fergie was using in Fergalicious, that I forgot the name of the group that was, but she took that sample from a hip hop group. I used to, Heather, whatever. It's funny because I used to do dance workouts too, and I haven't done those. I should get back into those because they're fun, like just to move around and get cardio when you don't feel like, working out. Dusty goes, we had a lot of great dance clubs in Seattle back in the 70s. It sucks though. The club scene, I feel like it's dying now because way back then people would go to clubs to socialize and to pick up on people, but now when you go to a club, nobody's really socializing anymore. Well, I don't know, I haven't really been to a club lately, but I feel like people don't go to clubs to pick up, to meet people anymore like it used to be. Carol goes, I did square dancing as a kid in my 20s. I did oh, that is cool. Hey guys! Oh, guys, I forgot Skeleduck. I don't know if you guys have been looking. So, Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. I forgot to mention it at the beginning. I'll give you 4 minutes to look. Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. And I'll give you a few more minutes before I reveal his location because I don't know if anyone was looking. If anyone is new here and wondering what Skeleduck looks like, he's pictured in the upper right hand corner. And every stream I do move him and hide him. D Nice gave me that idea, so I ran with it, thought it was cool. So I'll give you a few more minutes to look. And guys, keep the questions coming. We've had some cool questions. Few more minutes. Has anybody, while I give you a few more minutes to find Skeleduck, has anyone watched anything interesting over the weekend? I just been watching true crime docs. I haven't really changed what I've been watching. I was like kind of binge watching one. So I haven't really watched any movies or anything. Kimberly watched some Grimm. Matthew spotted Skelly. Haven't watched any horror films because there hasn't really been. There are a few I want to watch. I know In a Violent Nature, it's a Friday the 13th type film. It's a slasher. It's gonna come out next month, so I'm looking forward to that on Friday the 13th on Shudder. So I'm definitely gonna check that one out. I'm thinking about, because I can't do like movie reviews here on YouTube, I might put them on my Patreon. If I do see a movie, I'm thinking about doing movie reviews and putting it on Patreon, because I can just record and drop it there and not get executed like I would here on YouTube. I may do that. It might put some movie reviews up and try something different there on Patreon. And then too bad Chris is not in the chat, because I was going to give him a shout out, or her. I don't know why I keep calling it her. I apologize, Chris. I wanted to give her a shout out. She did become a member on my Patreon the other day, so I wanted to give her a shout out, but she's not in the chat. So next time. Matthew goes, I finished my Grimm TV series Blu-ray Sunday. Wendy goes, square dancing was mandatory in high school. Wow, that's crazy. As time permit, but I'm thinking about doing that to add, because I can't, there's some things I can't do here because of copyright. Rooster, what's up? Because of copyright, but over there I could, because I'm not posting it to anything. So I think I might do it there, because then I can kind of show scenes, and well, I won't play the movie, but I can show like slides and stuff and not worry about stuff like I can here. Or play videos that I can't, like, you know how sometimes I say, hey guys, you can check out the video. I may post it there so you guys can check out the video, type of thing that I can't play here. I may post there. I'll give you a few more minutes to find Skeleduck, and I will reveal his location. Dusty goes, the duck is hiding from me. Wendy goes, I saw that. I should probably check that out. I binged The Discovery of Witches. I did see that. I was thinking about watching it, but I didn't. I may check that out because it looks interesting. Heather Redford goes, I know. Come on, Duck. You're okay to show up. Think Beetlejuice. If you guys have Max and you want to catch up on Beetlejuice, I think it's on Max. Beetlejuice is streaming on Max. If you guys have it, to prep up for Beetlejuice. Kyle, what is up? How's it going? Which is releasing on September 6th. So if you guys want to prep for that, just finished Birthday Cake. Oh, cool. Dusty goes for, oh, thank you, Dusty. Dusty saying, for those of you that have Tubi, Tubi is a free movie app. I believe you just have to sign up for it, but you don't have to pay for it or anything. It does have Ghostbusters 1 and 2 on it. I've kind of browsed through the app, but I've never actually watched anything on it, but I know a lot of people do use it. But I'm sure I will use it in the future when there's a movie I'm looking for that I want to see, and I can't find it anywhere. I'll probably check there too. Kyle goes, I can't wait for Beetlejuice 2. It is almost here. Almost here, September 6th. I think not this week, but next week. I think it's almost here, actually. Yeah, it's a week from Friday. It's next week. That's crazy. Not this Friday, but next Friday. That is crazy. This month is already over with. Happy birthday to your dad, Kyle. All right, guys, Skeleduck, real quick, because I know I'm gonna forget. He is literally right there. He's sticking out of my bag. So he's where out of the Jason bag. So if I move the camera over a little bit this way, you'll see him. He is sticking out of the Jason bag right there where my finger is. I had the camera more like, oops, no, I didn't have it like that. Problem is my hand's in the way. I had the camera like this. So he was technically on screen. So he's right there. He's sticking out of the he's trying to find something in my bag. He's tail up. So Skeleduck is right where my finger is. When he goes, I'm probably gonna start off with a few free ones and then I'll go on I'll see how it goes. And then Gene Rick, how's it going? Dusty goes, Friday I have an appointment at the rescue shelter to look for a new friend. Oh, I hope you find that perfect match, Dusty. That's exciting. I like going to the shelter, but I hate going to the shelter at the same time because I want to take them all home with me. Kyle goes ducktail. Woohoo. Wendy goes pinche pato. Lisa Boo goes pesky skelly. Jean goes busy Monday night. Can't wait till we close. You're almost there, Gene Rick. I'm not sure what time. I'm assuming you close in a couple hours or so. You're almost there. You're almost at the finish line. You got this. All right, guys. Any last minute questions before I end this stream? Wendy goes, it's my spooky birthday month in September. Ooh. Dusty goes, I have a couple names in mind. See if they show me a sign. Kalea or Calais for a boy and Ela for a girl. I apologize if I butchered that, Dusty. Carol, again, Skeleduck is right there. He is sticking. He's looking in my bag for something. He's in my Jason bag. He's right where my finger is. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my, I'm going too far. Right there. Like right in that general area. Matthew has jury duty tomorrow. Oh, I feel for you, Matthew. Those Dusty, those are cool names. They are. They're unique. I love them. Dusty goes, you did good, Lisa. Ayala for the girl. They're beautiful though. I love the names. Very unique. I would give you advice, Matthew, but I'm not gonna say it over YouTube. To not get on a trial. You probably won't though, so you'd be good. Matthew goes, hopefully out of it, don't want me deciding on your life. I know exactly. You don't want me you don't want me to say I don't want to be there. I would not want to be no. Well, Kyle, that's kind of what I was gonna say without actually saying it, but a little more. I was gonna say, I'm not gonna say it here because they won't pick you if you think someone is, you know what? Well, I don't know if they will, but I doubt they would. If you come in there and go, nope, that person's here for a reason. Julissa goes, if you were picked, be very opinionated when they question you. Or be negative. I don't know if that works. I've never tried it. Kyle goes, if I show up with a clown wig, nose, and no pants, no way they pick me. Carol goes, I was on jury duty, but they excused me for knowing one of the cops involved. Haven't been called since. Thank goodness. I don't know. There's some people out there that want to be, but I'm one of them that don't. I didn't see her in the chat, but I just want to give a quick shout out to D Nice for your PayPal hearts for D Nice, guys. Thank you, D Nice. If you're listening. All right, guys, I am going to end this stream here. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you guys on the next one, which will be Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there, be squared, stay spooky, guys, and sweet nightmares. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome, and have a good night. See you guys.